From Orphan to Entrepreneur. The story of David Mensa. David Mensa was only 10 years old when tragedy struck. Both of his parents died in a car accident, leaving him alone in the world. With no siblings and no immediate relatives in the city, he was sent to live with his grandparents in a small rural village in Ghana. Life in the village was simple, but far from easy. His grandparents, though loving, were poor farmers who struggled to make ends meet. A spark of curiosity. Despite the hardships, David was a bright and curious boy. He helped his grandparents on the farm while attending the local school. However, one thing troubled him. Many farmers in the village were struggling to sell their produce. Sometimes, crops would rot before they could be sold in the market. David noticed that middlemen who bought the crops from farmers made far more money than the farmers themselves. This sparked an idea. The first business venture. At the age of 16, David decided to take matters into his own hands. With his small savings from doing odd jobs, he bought a cheap mobile phone and started calling vendors in the nearby city to see if they would buy directly from farmers. It worked. Vendors were willing to buy at better prices if the produce was delivered fresh and directly to them. David borrowed his grandfather's old bicycle and started transporting small quantities of vegetables and fruits from local farmers to the city market. His business was small at first, but he was determined. With every trip, he gained the trust of both the farmers and the buyers. Scaling up. By the time David was 19, he had saved enough to buy a second-hand motorbike, allowing him to transport larger quantities. He also started using social media to connect with restaurant owners and supermarket managers in the city. Orders increased, and he hired a few young boys from the village to help him. Realizing the potential of his idea, David took a bold step. He approached a local bank for a loan to buy a small truck. The bank was hesitant to lend money to someone so young, but David presented his financial records and a solid business plan. Impressed by his determination, the bank approved a small loan. With the truck, David expanded his operations, reaching more farmers and selling to bigger clients. Building an empire. By the time David turned 25, his business, Fresh Direct Farms, had grown into a well-known agricultural supply chain company. He set up collection centers in several villages, cutting out middlemen and ensuring farmers received fair prices. His company also introduced cold storage facilities, reducing food waste. David didn't stop there. He started an online platform where farmers could list their produce and buyers could place orders directly. His innovation attracted investors, and within a few years, Fresh Direct Farms expanded beyond Ghana, supplying fresh produce to neighboring countries. Giving back. Despite his success, David never forgot his roots. He built a school in his village, providing free education to children who, like him, faced hardships. He also started a program to train young people in agribusiness, encouraging them to become entrepreneurs. By the age of 30, David Mensa had transformed his childhood struggles into a legacy of success. What started as a boy with a bicycle delivering vegetables had grown into a multi-million-dollar company, changing the lives of thousands of farmers. His story became an inspiration, not just in Ghana but across Africa. It proved that with resilience,